Mayday, mayday.
Danger in the skies over Denver.
Aircraft just experienced engine failure.
The engine on fire as passengers watch in horror. And plane parts rain down on parks and neighborhoods.
All of a sudden, a big crash. Opened the front door, and that was laying right outside my front door.
Tonight, picking up the pieces, the investigation into what happened to United Flight 328. Mayday, Mayday. That was the call from United Flight 328 this afternoon, just after takeoff from Denver International Airport. The flight headed to Honolulu experienced a mid-air emergency when the engine failed. Passengers sent us this video you're looking at here from inside the plane. This is something, as a passenger, you would never want to see. Smoke billowing from the engine before it eventually caught on fire. The pilots managed to turn this plane around and make an emergency landing. All 241 people on board are safe tonight. So here's a look at the flight path 328 ended up taking. You can see the plane made a sharp right turn while flying over the northwest part of the Denver metro before making that emergency landing back at Denver International Airport. This was a harrowing experience for those passengers. And on the ground, people in Broomfield heard the explosion, saw giant pieces of metal dropping from the sky, and Denver 7's Lance Hernandez has their stories.
I can tell you that there are a number of people who saw the engines on fire. Quite a few saw debris raining down from the field, and a couple experienced extensive property damage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated.
Dramatic video shot on board United Flight 328 by Brett Guy shows the heavily damaged engine on fire.
I heard this loud rumble.
Rob Ball was feeding ducks in his backyard. He says the engine noise was so loud, he thought it was a military plane.
It came right over the house, and I watched it, and you could see that the right engine was on fire.
Moments later, the engine exploded. Lisa Hill heard it.
A boom. We looked up in the sky. We saw a lot of dark smoke and things raining from the sky.
KIRBY KLEMENTS heard it too.
Heard a big bang, and we didn't think much of it, and then all of a sudden a big crash. Opened the front door, and that was laying right outside my front door.
KLEMENTS didn't know what to make of it.
I thought the wind had blown my neighbor's trampoline over because I could just see the metal. Like the tree was kind of blocking where I was inside the house. But as soon as I opened the door, I go, oh, that's the front engine of a plane.
The front cowl smashed into the cab of his pickup. There was also heavy damage to a nearby home. Engine parts smashed through the roof of this house. The homeowner, who didn't want to go on camera, was making sandwiches for his daughters at the time. The experience left them shaken. Several soccer players were practicing at Broomfield County Commons Park when they heard the explosion.
We looked up and these black things were falling out of the sky, and it looked like a bunch of confetti at first, but then as they got closer, they got a lot bigger.
Everyone I talked with said it's amazing no one was hurt, on the ground, or in the air. And United Airlines issuing yet another statement this evening saying that the majority of passengers who were on board Flight 328 opted to fly on to Honolulu on another flight. Those who opted not to go are being put up in hotels tonight. The airline continuing to work with the FAA and NTSB trying to get to the bottom of what happened. One witness saying the pilots are the heroes in this for getting all those passengers back onto the ground safely. And I can tell you that Broomfield police, despite all the snow tonight, are saying that if you find debris in your neighborhood, don't touch it, just contact authorities. What an amazing day. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
Just incredible. Thank you, Lance. And one of the most eye-catching sights is this large piece of debris that crashed into a front yard. We wanted to know what exactly is that and how could it have come off a plane? ABC News contributor Stephen Ganyard gives us some insight.
This big ring is actually the nacelle, the very front end of the engine. So you can see when the engine came apart internally, the force was so great that it blew that cover of the engine off and into this neighborhood.
As far as what caused the engine failure itself, a source tells ABC News the NTSB investigation will focus on what's called a possible uncontained failure. That's an extremely rare situation where basically engine parts just start flying out.